sentiment. You cannot operate like Brock's going to be ready to go.
No.
Like, you've got to be hyper-aggressive. Now, if Brock comes back, great. If there's one thing that the Niners quarterback situation has taught us, you're going to need multiple bodies at that position. So I'm sticking with Brock. I'm not moving off of him or anything. But I can't operate today like he's going to be available for the full season next year. I think that's foolish.
And say if he is out
Poor
the
guy.
6 months and he's back August 1st. Well, you're not going to just have him out there throwing 50-yard bombs right away.
There's a ramp-up
He's got to
process.
ramp it up. He's got to throw from 10 yards, then 15 yards, then 20 yards. He's got to get the arm stronger. And all of a sudden, he misses 2 weeks. Then he misses 3 weeks. Now, what Brock has proven, that he's going to stay ready.
Of course.
That he knows the offense and he
course.
can operate at a high level. But the warning signs, if we just look at his play, there are some warning signs there about his limitations. Turning his entire back on the line of scrimmage. Look, he's a fun player.
Yeah.
But we saw when the defenses got faster, like the Cowboys and the Eagles, there was going to be some problems there. And who knows what happens in that Philadelphia Eagles game? I have no idea.
No clue.
I think it's a closer game, no doubt.
I do, too.
I think they're going to manage the offense really, really well. That front was tough and ferocious.
They might have suffocated him and he had his worst game. They might have suffocated him and he rose to the occasion and had his best game.
Right.
Something in between. Like, who knows?
But, you know, when you look at Brock and you look at some of the limitations of interceptable passes that we didn't harp on, we would have done it if it was Jimmy. The Jimmy O-No throws, well, Brock threw a lot of those, especially in the last 3 games.
They also scored a lot of points.
They scored a lot of points. You can't take that away. They converted in the red zone. He looked like an NFL quarterback. However, you cannot go into next season thinking that Brock's going to be ready to play by week 1. Is he the guy? I don't think the Niners have a guy right now. I really don't. I want it to be Trey Lance. But I don't know if Trey Lance is ready because he's played 5 full football games. Not even 5 full football games since 2019.
Bonte, David Lombardi and I were talking at the airport, and we're just talking about the injuries. I'm like, they cannot stay healthy. So he tweets out on the plane, while we're all on the plane, and I screen capped it because I want to give him his love. 49er quarterback injuries, 2017. This is just during the Shanahan. Beathard beat up, and obviously Jimmy Garoppolo was forced to come in
them to trade
because
for
C.J.
Garoppolo.
Beathard was hurt. 2018, Jimmy Garoppolo tears his...
Pause just a second, really, 2017. Hoyer gets hurt.
I know.
Or he stinks. They go to Beathard. Beathard gets beat up.
Yes.
Philadelphia, I don't know how he survived that game. And they're like, you know what? We need to go get a quarterback.
Yeah.
After passing up Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. But go ahead. Continue.
2018, Garoppolo tears his ACL. Okay. 2019, fully healthy. The only fully healthy season for the quarterback position for the Niners. 2020, Mullins, UCL tear. And we know Jimmy Garoppolo had the high ankle sprain pretty much throughout the whole year. And it hurt his shoulder, I believe, too. 2021, Lance, finger, Garoppolo, calf strain, Garoppolo, torn thumb and shoulder. Lance also got beat up in another game. 2022, Lance, broken ankle, Garoppolo, broken foot, Purdy, torn UCL. What do you make of that? Is that just bad luck, or is that not protecting the quarterback? What is that?
Quarterbacks not protecting themselves. Offensive line not protecting quarterbacks. Look, the Jimmy Garoppolo injury in Kansas City was kind of a fluke. Him cutting back into the field trying to make a play.
It was fluky, yeah.
To me, that was fluky.
I agree.
The ankle injury, look, he got beat up in 2020. He got beat up a lot. Trey Lance, to me, a fluky injury. But we were screaming after the Chicago game, can you play him like a quarterback and not a fullback?
How many times I counted how many times he got hit in that game? And I said, there's no way. I don't care who you are. It's the same thing I said about Jalen. Like remove my 49er bias, which I admit I'm fully biased.
Right.
B, what did I say to you when Jalen was running with 3 minutes to go?
Stupid.
I go,
he got cracked by Gibson.
I said, what is Sirianni doing?
Well, even my girlfriend, I'll bring this up all the time. Soldier Field, week number 1, which feels like it was 3 years ago. Trey Lance started at quarterback.
Feels like multiple lifetimes
it was a very long time ago. We met a guy named Jordan at the tailgate.
Yes.
He was like, man, I met you in Chicago. I was like, man, I felt like it was 15 years ago. Anyway, and it goes, man, quarterbacks taking a lot of hits. Do quarterbacks usually take hits like this? Roquan Swift was beelining to Trey Lance and popping this dude. So we saw that coming. We all said we didn't like the game plan, and then boom, Trey Lance gets hurt against Seattle. Doesn't even last 5 quarters this season. So it's a little bit of everything, Shasky, to answer your question. It's offensive line play. It's quarterbacks not protecting themselves. It's Kyle not protecting quarterbacks. It's Kyle leaving these quarterbacks in the pocket with long developing plays getting popped. I don't know what to make of it.
Well, here's another. I want to throw some more stuff at you, and this is our guy Jay Rich on Twitter. Just 11 NFL quarterbacks played all their team's scheduled games this year. 9 of those 11 were on playoff teams. 5 playoff teams saw significant snaps from their backups due to injury. 3 started the playoffs with backups as their starters. One made the conference championship.
Who was the three? The Niners,
The Baltimore
Ravens,
and the Miami Dolphins.
And the Miami Dolphins of Skylar Thompson, Tyler
So
Huntley.
let's boil it down.
Wow.
11 quarterbacks in the NFL made every game.
That's wild.
9 were on the playoff teams.
So basically, now you need 2 quarterbacks. You do need 2 quarterbacks.
So
in
like
this
I know
league.
like everyone wants to like run Shanahan out of town. I'm saying like guys, come on. Let's take a deep breath. Let's take a deep breath.
Can we slow down there? Shanahan's not going anywhere.
He was amazing. You don't
This
even
was his best job. The dude had to endure 4 different quarterbacks and got to the NFC title game. And for a second there in the second quarter, when it was 7-7, we looked at each other saying,
it crossed your
if
mind.
Shanahan wins with Josh Johnson, sign him to a 5-year extension right after the game.
Lifetime contracts. I mean, what are you talking about? Like,
Josh Johnson.
it crossed everyone's mind. When McCaffrey scored that touchdown, if you're a Niner fan even at all, you thought this simultaneously. Shanahan is unbelievable. McCaffrey, oh my God, what a Hall of Famer.
Hey.
And then who starts the Super Bowl? Jimmy or Josh Johnson?
Hashtag running backs matter.
Oh, well, that's... but that's another element of this, and I want to be very
Yep.
Everyone's going to bring up Trent and the defense and how defenses age and stuff. The McCaffrey thing factors into this decision with quarterback as well.
Yep.
You have got one of the rare special talents in the history of the game. You have got to find a way to maximize that too.
And I guarantee you one of these quarterbacks are going to want to come to San Francisco with this defense,
Yes.
with this personnel, with these weapons on the outside, and with Kyle Shanahan. By the way, We the Faithful, shout out to We the Faithful on YouTube, just spent $9.99 to ask this question. All season it's about the trenches, interior D-line, and center. Brady isn't realistic. The salary cap is based off a quarterback on a rookie deal. It will be Lance if Brock isn't okay. Pretty simple. I want it to be Lance. I haven't sold my Trey Lance stock, but he hasn't played a lot of football. And when I'm thinking about the quarterback moving forward, is that quarterback ready to take this team to a Super Bowl? That's what it's about. Well, you just lost back-to-back NFC title games.
I know.
You went deep into the playoffs 3 of the last 4 years, and you came up with no ring.
Well, that's the part that's going to suck. Like, we're going to look back at this the same way we look back at the Harbaugh era if we can't cash one in.
You got to cash it in. Is Trey Lance ready to take this team to the Super Bowl?
If you ask me today,
Monte,
Monte, you know I'm
you love Trey Lance just like me.
I love him. If you're asking me, the answer is no today. Yeah. And that's being fair. You have to be realistic here. He hasn't shown enough at all. Like unless you're blindly faithful and you're his father, like you can't give him the benefit of the doubt. You just can't.
He just has to play a lot of football.
I know. Well, here's the other part, the money part, which is very important. And I'm going to say this until I'm blue in the face all offseason. I don't care about how much people cost. Parag, you've been here a long time. You know how to massage the cap. Figure it out.
I don't think
that's your job.
I also don't think the Niners care. They just traded for Christian McCaffrey, and everybody said, well, that move, you're going to have to endure. I don't think the Niners care.
No, they're going to figure it out.
You know what they care about? Is hoisting that Lombardi. They've gotten too close and failed.
Ask Fred Warner, who's writhing in pain in the first quarter and comes back into that game.
Right.
Fred, you want to shave a little off this year and move money down or whatever? Like, these guys will renegotiate. They'll find a way to make it work. That's what your job is. Or if you have to, and Bonte, I know people want to pay everyone the bag, get this guy the bag, get this guy. The franchise tag is there in your back pocket.
No doubt. Use it.
Just because you and Bosa don't come to an agreement, we all want Bosa to be a Niner for life. You can franchise tag him.
You know what? Maybe later in the week we ask this question. I don't know if today's the day.
Today's not the day.
But Bosa, are you comfortable paying him $30 million a year?
What if you switch schemes and go to a 3-4?
How does that play out?
Is he a stand-up guy?
Bosa had no sacks during the playoffs.
I think he was hurt.
It wasn't enough.
It was a groin. I'm not trying to scapegoat him.
But it wasn't enough.
No, I agree.
It wasn't. You saw Hassan Reddick. He was healthy. He dominated in the playoffs.
They had help, though. Like, that's the one thing I'm looking at Aaron Donald last year. He had Von Miller on that side.
Help.
You know who might get a cap casualty cut?
Eric Armstead?
Khalil Mack. He'd look nice.
Is he? I got to ask Charger fans.
He's better than Ibukam.
Yeah, he is, but I haven't seen enough from him lately.
It does feel like more name production than actual production.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.